And how do you do it?
You're pumping air you're using your diaphragm as a pump to pump air out of your lungs through your mouth and through the instrument. And because you're vibrating the column of air in the instrument, when that air is vibrating, it slows down as it goes through the instrument. So you get a back pressure in the instrument, which in turn you have in your body. You have this back pressure from the bottom of your lungs to the end of the instrument as you're blowing it. Your cheeks, when you have your cheeks full of air and you want to breathe, when you're running out of air, you squeeze your cheeks, which keeps the note going through your lips while you breathe in quick one through your nose. And then you resume pumping from your lungs again. And you're doing that in a cycle, depending on what rhythm you're playing in the tune.
And can you do that more or less indefinitely?
Oh yeah, you tootle away for an hour, you know.
An hour without stopping?
Oh yeah. Like once you have circular breathing, you can just go on and on, because you're operating on a balanced system, depending on what you're playing. Like the breathing is much more difficult for some things than it is for others, and particularly for this side blow arc, which is a melody instrument, each note in this has a different back pressure. Therefore, you have to be very careful. If you are going to circular breathe it, you have to be very careful where to actually do the circular breathing and to know which note you're going to do it on, because you might pick an...
And what relevance it has to Bronze Age horns, so could you tell us about that?
The didgeridoo is the first instrument on earth. I don't think anybody can argue with that. The Aborigines in Arnhem Land in North Australia have been playing didgeridoos, they say, for as long as they've had civilization, which is upwards of 80 to 100,000 years, and climbing as they find new graves. You know, all the time they're finding ceremonial graves up there. The last one was over 80,000 years old. In which case, the didgeridoo was being played on Earth 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years before there was anything anywhere else. Basically, it's a tube, either cylindrical or conical. They're better if they're conical. Average 5 feet long, but they can go down as far as 3 foot and they can go up as far as 9 foot. I've actually seen a fellow playing a 12-foot didgeridoo. It's a trunk or a branch of a tree that's been eaten out by termites. The inside of it has been eaten out, and the boys come along and cut it and then clean it on the outside. And that's your basic didgeridoo.
Now that tells us about the didgeridoo. What's its relevance to the Bronze Age horns?
Well, I have one particular didgeridoo that I brought back from Arnhem Land. I bought it out there from a few young fellas, and it's actually a very old one. It's about 60 or 70 years old, and its configuration is that it's 54 inches long. It's got an average diameter of 1 1/4 to 1.5 inches, and it's in E. It's in concert E. Now, there's one of the horns, the Chute Hall horn, which is actually the largest of the Irish Bronze Age arcs. It's 52 inches long, has an average inside diameter of 1 1/4 to 1.5 inches, and it is also in concert E. It's identically the same instrument, except that it's made of bronze.
And the bore of the instrument is similar, is it? Where it begins to become more conical, is that the same too as in the
Yeah,
didgeridoo?
basically, yeah. Mm-hmm. The two instruments are basically the same. And sound. The didgeridoo probably sounds a bit rougher, but it's the same basic tone out of them.
Now, when it comes to the playing techniques, are the similarities?
Oh, identical. Exactly the same. Well, that's for the end blow arc, which has the same configuration as a didge. It's like playing the same instrument.
A didge being a didgeridoo.
A didgeridoo, yeah. I was able to give an end blow arc that I brought out to Australia, again a replica of one from the Ulster Museum, the pair of this side blow one. I was able to give that to a 15-year-old Aborigine young fella, and he played it immediately. He played the most beautiful tune on it, powerful tune on it.
When you say a tune, I mean, was he varying the pitch of the notes? Was he getting different notes, or was he just giving a rhythmic tune?
Oh, a rhythmic tune, one of their own traditional tunes on the didgeridoo. He was using the fundamental and the relative, like it would be Dickamore, Dickamore, boop, Dickamore, bor, Dickamore, boop, Dickamore, bor, Dickamore, boop, Dickamore, 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 boop. You know, that sort of sound he was getting out of it. Really fast and really energetic. I was jealous. But I was delighted too, you know. It proved my point by bringing the instruments out there.
Did they ever try your reproduction Bronze Age horn in that kind of music making at all?
In corroboree, no. Corroboree is what they call their dancing, well, they get together and dance and sing and that. They call it corroboree. No, because while I was there in Manangrida, which is on the north coast, the chief elder, the main elder, died, which was an enormous blow to the area because he was the last of the old songmen, and an awful lot of his tradition, of their tradition as a people, went with him. And Aborigine people came from all over Arnhem Land. 30 different tribes came in, sent representatives of singers, didgeridoo players, clapstick players and dancers, so that there was no, what would you call it, there was no happy corroboree while I was there. It was funeral. The funeral went on for a fortnight, day and night, 24 hours a day for a fortnight. So I didn't get a chance to introduce the Ark, but I was able to sit and listen to some of the most amazing music while they went through his entire life cycle, song cycle. It took him a fortnight to do.
Did you offer them a chance at the side blow Ark?
Yes, I did.
And what did they make of that?
They weren't as happy with that at all, because the idea of playing melody using didgeridoo technique, I think they weren't sure of that. Then they're brilliant musicians. They play any instrument you can give them, guitars, whatever. But the didgeridoo is that one apart.
One could speculate endlessly on how these instruments were used. Was it to reproduce the bull's roar, as you can hear on this cow horn made in imitation of the bronze side-blown horns and producing a similar, though rather less refined, sound? Or did a blast on it serve to gather in the cattle, as cow horns are used in Argentina? A horn known as the Dúteach Mór was used to gather people in Skye in the 1870s to protest at the land grabbers. The granddaughter of the Macpherson who blew it then still has it in her proud possession. That bull's horn is perhaps the last survivor of a tradition of horn blowing that may well go right back to the Bronze Age, though it's blown through the end by the simple expedient of sawing off the tip of the horn. But every township used to have one, and we know, and in a later programme will hear, how they were sounded at Bannockburn. Ancient traditions associated with cattle management and cattle raids survived well into the 19th century, as did the totemic values of clan crests and battle cries. It's not far from the song lines of the Australian Aborigines with their kangaroo and cockatoo and lizard dreamings, to the traditional cat dream of the cat clan, the Macphersons and Macintoshes of Clan Chattan, or the pig dream of the pig or orc people of the Orkneys, the horse dream for the MacLeods, and so on. Places as well as peoples had such associations, and horns too, no doubt. The gift of a horn was often used to confirm a land transaction. One such horn, the ivory horn of Lays, was given to the Burnetts at Bannockburn. But we're not allowed to hear it, for whenever it has been sounded, a member of the Burnett family has died, and they quite rightly won't take the risk. In other words, the magic of old beliefs still clings to the instrument to this very day. But we don't have to think of cattle herding people as being obsessed with magic horns, bulls, battles and religion. After all, where would they all be without the gentle cow?
Benach delat peate den tu, snar winig beldas na fos mi hon. De hjulmens leef dat gemak no deiris, tegen je weint hoe roms het lie, is glas roer gomme gloedat, leg aan de stoel op tom bovia gwie. Is knaste bezig de hasin te bloem, ze launig skenle sokkersraum, and haar ook nete gegurter tevle, linte reskele luna goon.
That was a cow's croon from Ireland, sung by Mary O'Sullivan, but I include it on account of its beauty, and because the cultural borders between Scotland and Ireland are, throughout our history, shifting and ill-defined. Like this next song, it has elements of magic in it to encourage the milk to come.
The calves have sucked, gentle lady, the whole family of calves have been suckled. Ruddy-faced and smooth-cheeked, gentle lady, you are my dear one. Whiter than crowdy is the milk of my cow. Brown maiden, you are gentler than all the rest.
Here it is, sung by Mrs. Kate Nicholson while she was milking.
Ahoy, y'all know, ahoy, ahoy.